Good. A very warm good morning everyone. Namaskar to all. This is Balneet Singh Bedi. I welcome all of you to the daily news analysis session by Tathastu ICS. So let's begin today's session. I have bifurcated both the news into two sections. These all are important from the mains perspective and these from the prelims perspective. So the first news talks about free and fair elections, in which the editorial says the executive interference in the Election Commission of India and executive appointment in the Election Commission of India, which will deviate it from its goal of free and fair elections. So editorial talks about what all changes are required and how the process needs to be there. The second, counting matters, talks about the delimitation commission. Delimitation commission basically divide the constituencies and accordingly the seats are allocated in the Lok Sabha as well as the state legislative assemblies. So the southern states, that is Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, are having problems with the delimitation commission because their seats might get reduced in the legislative assemblies as well as the Lok Sabha. Then the third news talks about the India-US defense ties. As we all know, our Honorable PM of India, Narendra Modi, has went to US and met Donald Trump. So what all bilateral agreements the both countries had and what defense ties, defense deals both the countries have signed. So specifically, it has focused on the defense ties. So we will discuss what all indigenous manufacturing of weapons India will do and what all will import from US. Then the fourth one talks about the olive ridley turtles. Good morning Dheeraj, Srimant, Ruchi, Deepti, Sonali, everyone. Very good morning. Now let's see here. Olive ridley turtles. It's vulnerable as per the IUCN status and it's in news because of the study by Dakshin Foundation, and they are saying that the climate change has skewed the ratio of the female turtles as well as the male turtles. That we will see. And last, African giant mouse rats, that is TB diagnosis. It's about the tuberculosis because India accounts for across 28% of the TB burden globally, and how these pouched rats would be able to reduce the burden of TB in India. Then these are some prelims perspective news, that is SEBI chairman, which is not as such important from UPSC perspective, but as a UPSC aspirant you should be aware of the recent appointments as well. Then last, no negotiation on annexed Ukrainian territory. This I will tell in the end that why I have covered and what kind of question you can expect from here. So let's begin with the first news. The first news, it's the editorial on the page number 8, a process where free and fair elections will be a casualty. Now why it's in news? As we all know, recently Gyanesh Kumar has been appointed as the 26th Chief Election Commissioner on 19th of February 2025. He is a retired IAS officer of Kerala cadre. So who appointed it? The selection committee, all of that, and what Supreme Court has talked about it. We all will see that how executive interference leads to impartial elections, that it is no more a constitutional body, right? It has become more of executive controlled body. So we will see all of that, and it covers the syllabus of Indian polity and governance. So let's see what the editorial says. So the background and context: Election Commission of India is entrusted with conducting free and fair elections as per Article 324. So what Article 324 says? The superintendence, the direction, the control of elections in India rests with the Election Commission of India. So Election Commission of India duty is to conduct elections to President, Vice President, Parliament and State Legislature, right? President, Vice President, Parliament. When I say Parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and when I say state legislature, we have state legislative assembly and we have state legislative councils as well. So previously, the president appointed the chief election commissioner and election commissioners on the advice of the PM. तो पहले क्या होता था बेटा, PM used to recommend to the president. For example, Narendra Modi is recommending to Draupadi Murmu that these people should be appointed as the chief election commissioner as well as the election commissioner. Very good, Mamta. Very good, Srimant. It's 324 article. But after that, because this was executive controlled, right? Election Commission needs to be an independent body. It can't be executive controlled body. So what Supreme Court said in March 2023, it mandated that CEC and EC be appointed by a committee comprising Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition and CGI. So this is the major judgment here. I'll just remove this. So this is the judgment, that is Anup Barnwal versus Union of India. So this is a major judgment. It's mentioned in your Lakshmikanta as well. It's in page number 420. Page number 420 of 7th edition. So this was the landmark judgment by Supreme Court, in which Supreme Court said in Anup Barnwal versus Union of India that only PM would not appoint the chief election commissioner and election commissioner. There would be a committee. Committee would consist of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition as well as CGI, that is Chief Justice of India. They three as a committee would appoint the chief election commissioner. So Supreme Court has said in this judgment. But in December 2023, Parliament of India enacted an act which replaced the CGI with a cabinet minister nominated by the PM, creating concerns over impartiality. Now what does this mean? The new law was brought by the Parliament. The name of the act is, that is CEC and other election commissioners, term of office, conditions of service, appointment Act 2023. Parliament came up with this act and it overruled the Supreme Court judgment and said that 3 members will appoint the chief election commissioner, but in those 3 members CGI would not be there. Who all would be there? Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition as well as Cabinet Minister nominated by the PM, that is Prime Minister. So this is a conflict. Supreme Court is saying PM, Leader of Opposition and CGI would appoint, but the Parliament enacted the act in which it's saying PM, Leader of Opposition and Cabinet Minister nominated by the PM. After that, what are the key provisions of this law? The act which I just mentioned. Selection process, a search committee headed by law minister and 2 senior bureaucrats shortlist 5 names. A selection committee, that is Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition and a cabinet minister, recommends the candidates. The president is bound to appoint candidates recommended by the committee. So the law is saying कि एक search committee बैठेगी जिसको law minister head करेगा और 2 senior bureaucrats होंगे जो 5 member को recommend करेंगे. After recommending or after shortlisting the 5 names, a selection committee would have a PM, a leader of opposition as well as the cabinet minister nominated by the prime minister. They would recommend the candidate and president is bound to appoint those persons as chief election commissioner as well as the election commissioner. Now what are the challenges here? The challenges here is the removal of CGI from the selection process would weaken the checks and balances. See beta, if we have PM, we have leader of opposition and we have cabinet minister that is nominated by the PM. So these two are from the same party, right? PM and CM, that is cabinet minister, are from the same party. Only leader of opposition is there which is from the another party. So they'll have a ratio of 2:1. That means majority इन्हीं की चलेगी. इन्हीं का बंदा को chief election commissioner would be appointed. इन्हीं का जो personal choice है उसी बंदे को chief election commissioner appoint किया जाएगा. So removal of CGI weakens checks and balances. PM and a cabinet minister, both from ruling party, ensure a 2:1 majority in the selection process, as I mentioned here. Potential violation of Article 14. It ensures predetermined majority for the government supported candidate is arbitrary. Article 14 says, Article 14 is right to equality. It also includes the arbitrary decisions by the state, right? It promotes fairness, it promotes non-arbitrariness, right? So it also violates Article 14, and it also leads to basic structure doctrine, which is free and fair elections are the part of basic structure, which this law may undermine. Now what this is saying, ki free and fair elections comes under the basic structure doctrine. Now anyone knows what is basic structure doctrine? Then we'll discuss this point. Basic structure doctrine in very simple words. So basically, basic structure doctrine means a government can change the constitution by amending it, but it cannot change the basic structure, the basic principles of the constitution. Now you must be thinking, sir, what are those basic principles? What is the basic structure? And where does this doctrine of basic structure originated from? So there are 2 points here. Basic structure doctrine originated from Keswananda Bharati case. Keswananda Bharati case, that is 1973, right, versus state of Kerala. It's a very famous judgment which has reshaped the Indian constitution. So in this judgment, the doctrine of basic structure was originated, right? And what are the principles which come under basic structure doctrine? That are sovereign, democratic, republic nature of the constitution. Then we have free and fair elections, we have judicial review, we have separation of powers, we have secular character of the constitution, we have parliamentary system. All these are basic structure, these are the basic principles. So free and fair elections is also the basic structure, so it cannot be changed, right? But agar executive appoint kar raha hai, so this is also in danger, right? Very good Abhinandan. Cannot change basic fundamentals of the constitution. Very nice. Then implications on electoral integrity. ECI independence at risk, because अगर उन्हीं के बंदे ECI Election Commission of India में appoint होंगे, so it would be at risk. Appointing CEC and ECs through a government dominated panel could lead to biased electoral decisions, right? Public confidence in elections get affected. The neutrality of the Election Commission is crucial for democratic legitimacy. Potential for legal challenges. The law is being challenged in the Supreme Court. This law is being challenged in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court can declare it unconstitutional, declare it void, right? Then we will see what are the judicial judgments. One we have seen, the doctrine of basic structure we have seen, but we will see what Supreme Court has told about the independence, impartiality of the Election Commission of India. Very good, Amrita, very good. Preamble contains various, very nice. Then judicial precedents supporting an independent ECI. Now what Supreme Court has said in one of the cases in 1993, that is Election Commission of India versus State of Tamil Nadu, it says that ECI should be free from executive interference, right? Election Commission of India should stay away from the politics, should stay away from the executive interference. That is, whatever is happening in the government, it's none of the business of the Election Commission, and it should function impartially so that free and fair elections can be conducted. Then comes TN Session case. Anyone knows who is TN Session? Well, he also reaffirmed need for strong independent election commission. TN Session was the 10th Chief Election Commissioner. He is known as a very bold, very reformative man who changed the scenario of the Indian election system, right? So basically what he did, he made the election process very democratic, right? And he took various steps to stop the booth capturing, the rigging in elections, the muscle power, the money power, the cheating which happens in elections. He took drastic reformative steps to clean the Election Commission of India. But unfortunately, money power, muscle power, all this is still relevant, and India has a long way to go here. So TN Session was the Chief Election Commissioner, 10th Chief Election Commissioner, right? He also reaffirmed the need for strong independent election commission. Right, now we will see what's the way forward. What can we do now? Reintroduce the Chief Justice of India in the selection panel would ensure impartiality and it would strengthen the checks and balances. Right, Article 50, separation of powers, Srimant. The selection committee should have equal representation from the government and opposition to avoid government control. Right, the list of shortlisted candidates should be made public to ensure merit-based selections. Then Parliamentary Standing Committee on Electoral Reforms should review appointment process periodically. The Election Commission should have independent budget. For example, like the judiciary, right? Election Commission of India should also have an independent budget so that they don't have to rely on the government कि अगर हमने इस सरकार के अगेंस्ट कोई स्टेप लिए तो हमारी सैलरी आनी बंद हो जाएगी या हमें बजट कम मिलेगा. So they should have an independent budget so that they can function impartially, they can function freely, fairly, they can conduct elections in the country to uphold the democratic principles which is the base of the constitution. So you can learn any of the 2 or 3 for the answer. So you have a mains practice question here. The question says the independence of the Election Commission of India is crucial for ensuring free and fair elections, which is a part of basic structure of the constitution. Critically examine the implications of the Chief Election Commissioner and other Election Commissioners Appointment Act 2023 in this regard. So I have discussed all the major points which needs to be written here. So try to write the answer of this question in 250 words. Then the next comes the counting matters. Now this editorial talks about the Delimitation Commission, which was in news yesterday as well. So it's in news because of delimitation and representation and the electoral reforms. Electoral reforms as in all the changes it would bring in collaboration with the Election Commission of India. It covers the syllabus of GS paper 2, that is Indian polity and governance. Now first thing comes, what is delimitation? So delimitation is the process of redrawing the boundaries or redrawing the boundaries of the constituencies of the Lok Sabha as well as the state legislative assemblies based on the changes in the population of a particular state. जिस स्टेट में पॉपुलेशन जितनी होगी उसके अकॉर्डिंग कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसीज को चेंज किया जाएगा इन लोकसभा एंड स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज. दिस इज इन द सिंपलेस्ट ऑफ द सिंपल वर्ड्स. नाउ व्हाट इज डिलिमिटेशन? इट्स द प्रोसेस ऑफ रीड्राइंग Lok Sabha and state assembly constituencies based on the population changes. The last delimitation was based on 1971 census with the number of seats frozen to avoid penalizing state with better population control. Now what does this mean? See beta, we have northern states, we have southern states. Southern states, for example, Kerala, we have Karnataka, we have Tamil Nadu, we have Maharashtra. All these states have very successfully implemented family control methods or family population methods, right? So these states have successfully implemented the family control measures or the population control measures, and on the other hand we have states such as Bihar, we have MP, we have Bihar, we have MP, we have UP, we have Rajasthan. All these states are the states which could not successfully implement the family control methods. That means यहाँ पे तो population को control कर दिया गया, but इधर populations को control नहीं किया गया and populations exploded, right? So these states have higher population as compared to the southern states. So अगर delimitation exercise होगी तो जो सीट्स लोकसभा और स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली में मिलेगी वो पॉपुलेशन के बेसिस पे मिलेगी. नाउ दीज स्टेट्स हैव हायर पॉपुलेशन, सो दे विल हैव हायर नंबर ऑफ सीट्स इन द लोकसभा, इन द स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली, whereas these states will have lesser seats in the Lok Sabha as well as the state legislative assemblies. So 1971 census के according इन seats को froze कर दिया गया. Suppose we have 543 seats, so it's been frozen on the basis of 1971 census. दो 2001 में भी सेंसस हुआ था, बट ड्यू टू 86th अमेंडमेंट इन सीट्स को 2026 तक फ्रीज कर दिया गया कि इसके बाद कोई भी चेंजेस नहीं होंगे. जैसा 1971 सेंसस में जितनी सीट्स थी उतनी ही सीट्स रहेंगी टू अवॉइड पीनलाइजिंग स्टेट विद बेटर पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल. राइट. Now next talks about the current controversy and Tamil Nadu's concerns, right? What Tamil Nadu is saying, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has called for an all-party meeting. Southern states including Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka fear reduced representation in parliament if seats are allocated purely based on population. Now the editorial also talks about the electorate growth. That means कितने electorate बढ़े हैं, कितनी population बढ़ी है. Since 1971 to 2024, Tamil Nadu population has increased by 171% and undivided Bihar, that is Bihar and Jharkhand, their population has increased by 233% increase in the population. So Bihar had 54 Lok Sabha seats including Jharkhand, while Tamil Nadu had 39 seats only. Right. So Union Minister has assured the southern states that there would be no changes in the Lok Sabha seats based on the population changes. So again, all this I've explained. I'll quickly revise it here. The 84th Constitutional Amendment Act extended the freeze on seat allocation until after 2026 census. Delimitation is governed by Delimitation Act and is conducted by Delimitation Commission. So Delimitation Commission is appointed by, very good Abhinandan, Delimitation Commission is appointed by President of India and it works in close collaboration with Election Commission of India. The next census was due in 2021, but it has been delayed indefinitely, raising concerns about an early delimitation exercise. Now, what are the implications? Political and federal implications. North Indian states, that is Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, having higher population growth might gain seats post delimitation, whereas southern states with lower fertility rates could see their proportion of seats decline, affecting federal balance and decision making power. There is uncertainty whether total number of Lok Sabha seats will be increased to prevent regional disparities. Right. Now, what's the way forward here? The union government must clarify whether southern states will face reduced representation or not. A balanced approach should be there to ensure proportional representation while preserving federal balance. And conducting the census, that is 2021, which have been delayed due to COVID, it should be conducted before any delimitation exercise is being performed in 2022. पहले सेंसस कराओ, उसके बाद आप डिलिमिटेशन एक्सरसाइज कराओ, so that there should be fair representation of the states in the legislative assemblies as well as the Lok Sabha. Then the next editorial, it's about Trump and the new matrix of US-India defense ties. Now beta, this would have lot of names of the weapons, a lot of names of the tank guided missiles and all of that, all of the major arm equipments which both the countries are dealing with. So this editorial is specifically focused only on defense ties. So I would request you to just skim through, right? You should know, okay, this is the of USA. Like there was a question of Thar missile, right? There was a question in prelims. So you never know. If it has been asked in PYQs, it could be asked in future as well. So you just have to skim through एक बार कि क्या-क्या कौन-कौन से हमारी deals हुई हैं between India and US. So again, why it's in news? Because of India-US bilateral relations and syllabus, it covers international relations, internal security and defense. Right. Now next we will see the key takeaways. That is defense acquisition and joint production. India will co-produce Javelin anti-tank guided missile and Striker infantry combat vehicles. So this is Javelin and this is Striker. I've put down these images intentionally so that better visual representation will make you remember these names very easily, right? So we have Javelin, we have Striker. This will enhance supply chain integration and domestic defense manufacturing. So India has signed a deal with US कि इन दोनों को हम co-produce करेंगे. That means domestically India maybe we will produce this to enhance supply chain. Supply chain इससे अच्छी होगी, smooth process होगा, and it will also boost defense manufacturing in India. Then the second, we have purchase of 6 more P-8I maritime patrol aircraft to improve India's maritime domain awareness. It has strengthened collaboration on unmanned aerial system and autonomous system. So here you should know Striker, Javelin and P-8I maritime patrol aircraft. All these three you need to remember in this PPT. Then last, new institutional framework and agreements, announcement of a 10-year US-India major defense partnership framework, formation of autonomous system industry alliance to boost AI-based and autonomous defense capabilities, initiation of reciprocal defense procurement agreement to streamline procurement processes, right? Nothing to explain here. All you can do is just remember 10-year US-India major defense partnership framework and reciprocal defense procurement. Reciprocal defense procurement means smooth process between both the countries in import and export of the equipments, the weapons and the arms, so that uski timely delivery ho and sab kuch process hamare smooth chale, right? Then what are the challenges in the defense cooperation? Again, there was, so basically we asked US to give us some engines, right? But that process has been delayed for too long. Till today it has not been delivered to India. So no update on the delivery of the engines for Tejas Mark AI and transfer of technology for this Tejas Mark II that could worsen India's fighter jet shortages, with IF squadrons possibly dropping below 30 against a sanctioned strength of 42. So basically this talks about कि जो भी हमारी पहले बातचीत हुई थी डिलीवरी की, right, you have not delivered us yet, and there is also no transfer of technology to us, so that has led to the shortages of jet. Then the last, F-35 Lightning fighter aircraft offer was reiterated, but challenges include no transfer of technology or co-production offer. See beta, why this is important? India कब तक import करेगा? Right, this is worth billions and billions of dollars deal, right? India also want, if we are taking from you, अगर US से हम कुछ खरीद रहे हैं, we also expect कि आप domestically manufacture करने के लिए हमें technology भी दोगे, right? For first 5 years maybe I'm buying it from you, but for the after 5 years you should transfer me the technology so that I can manufacture it in India indigenously. We can manufacture it as well. So no transfer of technology or co-production offer, high infrastructure and maintenance cost, interoperability issues with India's diverse aircraft fleet, and potential US restrictions on operational deployment of F-35. Now F-35 Lightning fighter aircraft, it was in news few days ago. There was this it was happening in Bangalore, right, where all the aircrafts and all, they show all of their performances and all. So it was for the first time where Su-57 and this is Su-57 and F-35, this is of Russia and this is of USA. They both showcased their aircrafts in same event, right? So it strengthened the India's role in global defense market as well. So it was for the first time in history कि Su-57, that is of Russia, and F-35, that is of USA, they have come together on the same platform, right? Yeah, air in Bangalore, right? So they have come together, and these are 5th generation aircrafts, right? They are the advanced aircrafts any country has. So it's of Russia, Su-57, and F-35 is of USA, right? Then also there is also challenges. Again, this is not important, but I'll just read it for you because it's mentioned in the editorial, right? The Rafale deal fell apart over cost and TOT issues. ये हमारी deal sign हुई थी, but it could not be completed due to transfer of technology as well as, you know, over costing issue. So India later bought 36 Rafale jets worth this billion without co-production. The MMRCA project for this still unresolved, and USA lobbying and other contenders in the fray. Again, this is not so important from the exam perspective. Then comes the implications. What would be its implications in the geopolitical scenario as well as the strategic scenario? So the first, it would strengthen India and US cooperation, which counterbalance China's maritime assertiveness. China is taking lot of power in the Indo-Pacific region. So more US and India would come together in their defense ties. It would counterbalance China, right? That there's some other power as well present in Indo-Pacific region. It would also boost Make in India and defense indigenization, that is Javelin, anti-tank guided missile, as well as Striker, right, ICVs, which would enhance self-reliance. Then comes India's historical defense ties with Russia, complicate full-scale alignment with US defense system. Right, now its strengthened defense ties could impact India's positioning in the Quad, that is US, India, Japan and Australia, and its strategic autonomy. Right, it would also uplift the status of India once we have defense ties with US in Quad as well as in the global order as well. What is strategic autonomy? Strategic autonomy means ability of a nation to take independent decisions in defense, in foreign policy, in economic matters, without being dependent or without being guided by any other country. Right, Russia can't tell us, US can't tell us that what's happening in Manipur, any other country can't tell us what's happening in Tamil Nadu, why are they protesting against delimitation commission. None can ask us anything. So we are independent in nature. Right, and what's the way forward? There should be timely delivery of GE engines for Tejas. There should be greater technology transfer in future deals, right? Expand cooperation on unmanned systems, space-based defense and AI-driven warfare. Joint military exercises होनी चाहिए. Technology sharing agreements होने चाहिए. Cost benefit analysis होना चाहिए F-35 का versus alternative options, right? This is saying कि अगर हम F-35 US से ले रहे हैं, so we need to have a cost benefit analysis as well. अगर ये हमें बिलियंस एंड बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स का दे रहा है, क्या पता हमें राफेल और यूरो फाइटर थोड़े कम प्राइस में मिल जाए. सो वी नीड टू एनालाइज दैट. Prioritize interoperability and long-term operational efficiency. Implement reciprocal defense procurement, right? Reduce bureaucratic delays in defense procurement. Balance UN's defense ties with India's independent foreign policy and existing Russia partnerships. So out of all of this, you can learn any 2 or 3 most important ones. Then we will see about the olive ridley turtles, right? This was the newspaper, this is the newspaper clipping, right? So population trends and finding from the study, that is Dakshin Foundation. It covers the syllabus, that GS3 environment and ecology. I'll quickly tell you what all this is about, right? It's important from the prelims perspective more, very less from the mains perspective, right? So again, a study by Dakshin Foundation, IISc Bangalore and State Forest Departments, right? The olive ridley turtle numbers are stable or increasing along India's coastline. Others they have also studied, that is leatherback turtles and green turtles. It's in Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar, right? This you just learn, right? I've given this a screenshot, just go through it as well. Then the next says, this is the location. Okay, first we'll do the significance of olive ridley turtles and then I'll tell you that where exactly it's located. So these are highly migratory, long-lived and late maturing species. They require long-term monitoring to assess the population trends. They are known for eribada. Eribada, it's a Spanish term, right? It's a Spanish term which means arrival, right? It's a Spanish term which means arrival, right? Eribada means mass nesting phenomena. जब बहुत सारी female turtles आके एक साथ eggs देती हैं, उसको eribada. Eribada is a term for olive ridley turtles. You just have to remember that. Eribada is equals to olive ridley turtles, right? And Gahirmatha and Rushikulya in Odisha, these are the beaches, right? So they are the largest nesting grounds in the world, along with Mexico and Costa Rica, right? So Gahirmatha and Rushikulya, these are the beaches in Odisha, one of the mass nesting grounds, right? Along with Mexico and Costa Rica. And Rushikulya, February, this is the data which is again not important. Here, this is the location, right? This is Rushikulya river and here they give the mass nesting beaches. These are the beaches if you see, right? Olive ridley nesting beach, Gahirmatha and Rushikulya somewhere located here, right? Then comes the climate change. Climate change is affecting their hatchling ratios. Rising sand temperature impact hatchling sex ratios. Higher temperature lead to more female hatchlings. Long-term risks are also there, which may threaten the reproductive success. What are the conservation challenges? Some years see no mass nesting despite abundant turtles offshore. And what are the threats? These are very basic threats which you can use anywhere in the paper as well. Coastal erosion, habitat loss, pollution, plastic waste ingestion, and fishing net entanglement. Right, so this is all about. Now the last way forward: artificial shading and watering of nest, established protected hatcheries, strengthen protection in Gahirmata and Rushikulya, that those are the key nesting sites, expand no fishing zones, reduce plastic pollution, implement turtle excluder devices, expand turtle monitoring programs, involve coastal communities, integrate turtle conservation into India's climate action plans, and promote sustainable coastal development policies. All this you can go through once, right? Then the next, it's a practice question. Climate change is emerging as a major threat to maritime biodiversity. Discuss the impact of rising temperature of olive-bearded turtles and suggest measures to ensure their long-term survival. So you have to focus here first. Half of the part should cover this, then half this, and suggested measures as well. Right? Then this comes TB eradication in India. Basically, a study and a non-profit organization of one of the African countries is coming up with a solution to reduce the TB burden. Right? Indian authorities, Indian officials are looking into it, and we are hoping to adopt this technology or adopt this biotechnology measure and see how we can implement in a country like India, right, which has the highest global burden. So why it's in news? TB eradication in India, that is National TB Elimination Program. Application of animal-based diagnostics in public health. It covers the GS2 part and GS3, that is science and technology. Biotechnology, that is the subtopic. Health, government policies and interventions. Right. So tuberculosis in India. Now India accounts for 28% of the global TB cases. Annual TB deaths in India is 5 lakh, that is 1 death per minute. Right, it's very scary, but 5 lakh deaths, annual TB deaths in India. We have National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, which aim to eliminate TB in India by 2025, and global target is 2030. So this program aims to eliminate tuberculosis from India by 2025, but globally the target is 2030. That means this year, December, we are aiming to eradicate or eliminate TB from India. Progress: 16% decrease in TB incidence and 18% drop in TB related deaths since 2015 according to the TB report 2024. What are the challenges? Diagnosis remain difficult, right? हम diagnose ही नहीं कर पाते at a very early stage in remote areas, in children and patients with low bacillary loads, right? Now we will see the challenges, that is the early detection issues that we have discussed. Conventional methods fail to detect TB in early stages, especially in children. Rural population face long travel times and high cost despite free treatment, right? They cannot travel for long, and even if they are traveling, right, it costs them a lot of amount. We have slow diagnosis, that is sputum smear microscopy takes 3 to 4 days, which delay the initiation of the treatment, right? This is a technical term, right? You just should know that what it's related to TB, that's it. False negative, many cases remain undiagnosed, leading to continued transmission of tuberculosis, right? Then comes the what editorial is saying, that there are African giant pouched rats for TB detection. So they are making use of the rats to detect TB, because conventional method abhi humne dekha, it's unable to detect, it's unable to diagnose the TB at a very early stage. So this NGO, that is Tanzania based Apopo, a Tanzania based non-profit, trains rat, that is hero rats, to detect TB in sputum samples. जो sputum samples हैं उसमें hero rats, they have named them hero rats, they help in detecting the TB, right? The training process, which is not important, but I'll just read it for you, begins at 2-3 months old, lasts 9 months using positive reinforcement. They are trained to sniff sputum samples and signal TB positive cases. So basically they are telling the methodology कि वो कैसे बताएगा कि इसको TB है या नहीं है, right? Efficiency, again not important, you should just know this, that hero rats to detect TB in sputum samples, and what it is, it's a non-profit Tanzania based NGO that is named as a popo, right? Then efficiency, 100 samples tested in 20 minutes, rats identified twice as many TB cases in this, able to detect TB in 6 times more cases with low bacillary load. Current adoption, it's been used successfully. See, this is a positive point, that it has been used successfully in Tanzania, Mozambique and Ethiopia. That means these countries have adopted it and it's working successfully there. So India is not the first country to adopt, so Indian officials are thinking to give it a try, right? Then India's potential interest in rat-based TB diagnosis. Indian health officials acknowledge the potential benefits of rat-based TB detection. What would be its advantage? It would be cost-effective. It would be rapid and accurate secondary screening tool. It would be beneficial in high TB burden states, that is Maharashtra, West Bengal, UP, Bihar, MP, all of that. Future possibilities, collaboration with APOPO and National TB Elimination Program to pilot this initiative in India. Then again, this editorial also talks about other animal based disease detection innovations. The first is dogs, which is used to detect Parkinson disease, cancer and even COVID-19. Cancer we know, COVID-19 we know, Parkinson's disease, who doesn't know? It's basically it's neurological disorder which affect your movements, which affect your stiffness, right? Pain in your joints and all. So it's a neurological disorder. And ants can detect cancer in 3 days using chemical cues, and last honeybees, which detect the lung cancer with 88% accuracy. So again, this is not important, just have a rough idea about this. Then last, way forward, implement rat-based TB screening in selected states with the highest TB burden, that is again Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. The government can partner with APOPO, this name you have to remember, to train and deploy hero rats. In India, it should use as a secondary diagnostic tool alongside gene expert and sputum microscopy to improve detection rates. We should have more PPP, that is public-private partnerships. If successful, we need to explore rat-based detection for drug-resistant TB and other diseases. Then comes your prelims news. The first, Tuhin Kanta Pandey has been appointed as the SEBI chairman. He has replaced Madhaba Puri Bach, she was also famous for Hindenburg controversy, right? We all have heard about this. She was also famous for that. So this Tuhin Kanta Pandey has been appointed the new SEBI chairman. Not important from UPSC perspective, but just as a general knowledge, you should be aware. Then last comes, if I would be able to zoom in here. Okay. So basically these are the regions mentioned here, that is Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye. This was mentioned in 2023 prelims as well, right? PYQ came from here. And last, Kherson. These all are the Ukrainian territories which are annexed by Russia. So these names you should be aware, right? It's either Ukraine or Russia, whatever it is, but you should know that these are the regions located in the countries. Now these regions earlier in Ukraine, now annexed by Russia. This was in PYQ. It's 2023 PYQ. Consider the following pairs. 3 names were given. This was the third point. So you should be knowing this. Then comes the prelims practice question. Very quickly, I have 3 questions for you today. Practice this question and tell me the answer. We will see how much ready you are for prelims. Very basic questions I have given. So go through the questions once. Neha, Srimant, Rehan, Abhinandan, Imran, Amrita, Ruchi, Srimant, Sonali. None of you has given the right answer, right? I'll discuss why and how. So I'll read the question for you. Which of the following statements regarding the Election Commission of India are correct, right? Are correct. The first statement says the Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners have a tenure of 6 years or until they attain the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. This statement is right. It's 6 years and 65 years. So this statement is right. The second statement says ECI, Election Commission of India, is a multi-member body since its inception in 1950. This statement is wrong. It's not a multi-member body since 1950. It's a multi-member body since 1993. Though 1989 में President made it a multi-member body, but it took back its decision in 1990. Again, it was made a one-member body, and again in 1993 it was made a multi-member body. Since 1993 to 2025, it's a multi-member body. So this statement is wrong. Not since its inception, since 1993. Okay, so second statement is wrong. The first statement is right. Now the third statement says, I'm sure most of you got confused here, the removal process of election commissioners is the same as that of the Chief Election Commissioner. This statement is again wrong, right? I'll tell you why this is wrong. So basically we have Chief Election Commissioner and we have 2 election commissioner. This is Gyanesh Kumar. This is the current Chief Election Commissioner. I've named so that it's easy for you to understand. Now, if we want to remove Chief Election Commissioner, he can be removed same as the judge of the Supreme Court, right? He can be removed same as the judge of the Supreme Court. But these 2 election commissioners can be removed on his recommendation. अगर CEC, अगर ज्ञानेश कुमार कहता है ये दोनों EC मुझे नहीं चाहिए, right, due to XYZ any reason, then Gyanesh Kumar can go to the President of India and says that we can remove them. So their process of removal is different. CEC can be removed same on the grounds as the judge of the Supreme Court, and these can be removed on the recommendation of the CEC. So the removal process of election commissioner is same as that of the Chief Election Commissioner? No, it's not the same. So A is the correct answer, only one, and these 2 are wrong. Okay, I hope it's clear and it's important. So revise Election Commission of India today from Lakshmikant. Okay, now quickly solve the second question as well. I have one more question after this, so solve this question. Yes, very good, Mamta. Imran, very nice. Very nice. Neha, Ruchi, yes, Srimant, Rehan, everyone, very good. This is, the question says, consider the following statements regarding tuberculosis in India. National Tuberculosis Elimination Program aims to eliminate TB in India by 2030. So it's not 2030, it's 2025. 2030 is the global target. We have a target 5 years ahead. 5 साल पहले का इंडिया का target है, right? So this statement is wrong. They have given the global target here. India contributes to nearly 28% of the world's total TB cases. This is right. And DOT strategy is part of revised national TB control program, which is also right. So the correct answer is B, right? Exactly. Ruchi, Mamta, right. Then quickly solve this question. This is the last question for today. Very good, Mamta, Neha, Abhinandan. You guys are giving correct answer. Ruchi, Imran. Very good. Though I haven't taught you this, but you're giving the correct answer. That means you're studying, right? So consider the following statements regarding olive ridley turtles. First, they are classified as endangered. No, they are classified as vulnerable. They are not endangered. So this statement is wrong. Second, Aribada phenomena refers to their mass nesting behavior. That is right. Gahirmatha and Rushikulya, these are the beaches of Odisha, among the largest nesting sites in the world. So first is wrong, second and third is right. B is the correct answer. Right? Very good. So with this, I end today's session. Study really well. All the very best to you. Keep revising whatever you are studying. Focus on your subjects. All the very best. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.